Right, good morning everyone. And in today's session, we are going to see about constructors in Java programming language. So we are all very familiar with the methods in Java, right? So constructor is a special type of method. So constructor is a special type of method. You can see here, constructor is a special type of method, or we can also call it as a special type of function. So if we are dealing with the methods, the class name and the method name is different. And in such cases, if the class name and method name both are same, then it is called as a constructor. So here, the only one rule is class name and method name should be same as each other. So that is the second point. So the name of the method is same as class name, right? So next one, in Java programming language, the constructors are divided into two categories. So the names of those two categories are no argument constructors, that means no parameter constructors, and the second type of constructors are parameterized constructors, right? We also have methods with zero parameters and methods with one or n number of parameters. Similar to the methods, here constructors are also two types. Constructors with parameters, that is the no argument constructors, and constructors without parameters, that is the no argument constructors, and the constructors with parameters are called parameterized constructors. So parallelly, I will show what is a constructor, what is a parameterized constructor, and what is a no argument constructor in the programming window, so that it will be very easy to understand the topic. Right, I am moving into the programming window here. There are some rules for constructors. I will discuss the rules once I show what is a constructor, what is a parameter constructor, and what is a zero argument constructor. After showing that one, I will show the rules of writing constructors in Java programming language. Right, let us start here. So my class name is CO constructors, right? So in this main method, right, let us write this main method later. Right now, if I want to define a method, I generally use a return type. In case if the method does not return anything, I use void. So return type of the method is void here. And my method name is m, and it is the body of the method, right? And generally what this method will do is, this method is going to print good morning on the output screen, right? And I have one more method. Here my method name is m1. My method name is m1, and this method consists of an integer parameter, and this particular method, right? This particular method is going to print something called as good evening, right? So here there are two methods. The first one is with the name m, and the second one is with the name m1. So the method with the name m is called as, right, is called as no argument method. No argument method, or we can also call it as no parameters in the method, or zero parametric method, right? So And the second method, the second type of method, the name of the method is M1, and this type of method is called as parameterized method. Parameterized method. So these are the two types of methods we generally see in Java programming language, right? And in today's class, we are not going to discuss about these methods. We are going to discuss about constructors, right? So I am just explaining how the methods will be different in case of in case of parameters, right? So a method with zero parameters is one type of method, and a method with one or n number of parameters is another type of method. So similar to these methods, so let us convert these methods into constructors. So if we want to convert these methods into constructors, right? Let us see the first rule of constructor here. Let us see the move to the PPT. Right, if you see in the PPT, right, so the name of the method is same as class name. So if the name of the method is same as class name, then it is called as a constructor, right? So constructors are nothing but they are not a new thing. They are the old thing with some specific rules, right? So here constructors are a special type of methods, right? Where the name of the method is same as class name, which means in this program, we have class name CO, but we have method M. We have class name CO, but we have method M1. So in such cases, if the class name and the method name both are same, then it is called as an constructor. For example, right? For example, if the name of this method is CO, then this CO is a method which is of special type, and we call this special type of method as constructor. Now CO is a constructor. We cannot call CO as a normal method because here the class name and method name both are same. That's why CO is called as an constructor. And similarly, if we have the second method name also as CO, then it is called as it is also called as constructor, right? So here, if you observe, the first CO do not have any parameters here. The first CO do not have any parameters. So that's why it is called as no argument constructor. No argument constructor. And the second one, if you observe the second one, there is one integer parameter for the constructor CO. So it is called as parameterized constructor. So these are the two types of constructors, right? So the only one main rule is, there are many sub rules. I will explain. I will change this program again. There are many sub rules. I will explain it in the next slide. So the main one rule is, here the class name and the method name should be same. If the class name and method name are same, then it is called as a constructor. Here the constructors in Java are of two types: parameterized constructors and non-parameterized constructors, which means no argument constructors, right? So if the constructor do not have any parameters, then it is called as no argument constructor. And if the constructor is having parameters, means it is called as parameterized constructor, right? So let us move to the PPT and let us add one by one rule into this program, right? Right. So these are the some of the features of constructors in Java. So the first one is, we already followed it. Method name is same as class name, right? And the second one, constructors are executed during the time of object creation, right? I will explain the second point by using a program, right? Here, if you observe, and one more thing is that constructors do not return anything. right? That was not mentioned in the PPT, I think. Constructors do not return anything. So even there is no need to write void also for constructors. We simply write the name of the constructor. And if the constructor is having some parameters, we maintain that parameters. And we have some body for the parameters. So here the constructors do not return anything. So there is no need to maintain return types for constructors, right? So these are the two constructors. First one is a no argument constructor and the second one is a parameterized constructor, right? So as we seen one point in the PPT, these are executed while creating an object for the class. These are executed while creating an object, right? So if the same thing is a method, right? One second, if the same thing is a method, for example, void m, and it is a something called as void m1, right? These two are not constructors because the class name and the method name is not same, and we are having some return type called as void for these methods. So these two are not constructors, these are methods, right? If we want to execute these methods, right? If we want to execute these methods, let us define one more class at CO1, right? So inside CO1, I'm going to write the main method on Java, public static void main string args, right? So this is the main method in Java programming language. Just a second. Right. So inside the main method, if I want to execute the method m, which was present in CO, and the method m1, which was also present in CO, I need to create an object for class CO, right? If you observe the entire class, there is no static keyword. If there is some static keyword, it can be executed directly. Because of there is no static keyword, we need to bring them into the RAM. So the people who don't understand what is static keyword, how that static keyword will work in Java programming language, they can follow the first class in our syllabus. They can follow the first class. It is already kept in the YouTube. You can follow the first class. Then you will understand what is the importance of static keyword in Java programming language, right? So if we have static keyword, the things will be directly moved into the RAM. If we don't have static keyword, we need to bring the variables or methods into the RAM by creating an object, right? So in this program, there is no static keyword for the class CO, or not the class CO, for the method m or method m1. Now we have to create a object. We have to create an object, right? So the creation of object is, the syntax is class name. Here we are going to create an object for CO, class name, space. My object name is obj. So we can have any name other than keywords in Java as an object name. So we cannot have CO space int because int is a keyword in Java. We cannot have CO space class because class is a keyword in Java. So we can have any name as an object name other than keywords in Java programming language. So obj is not a keyword. So we can have it as an object name, right? CO space obj equal to new class name, right? So we have created some space in RAM. So in such space, so some space will be created in RAM. Just a second, right? Some space will be created in RAM, right? In this space, the name of the space is obj, right? The name of this particular space is obj because we have created an object with the name obj. So the name of the space will be obj, and inside that obj, what will be stored in the sense we have created an object for class CO. So inside class CO, there will be some methods and variables which don't have the static keyword. So if you observe the class CO, right? If you observe the class CO, there is no static keyword for method m and method m1. So in such cases, method m and method m1 are called as non-statical methods. So both these non-statical methods, right, m and m1 will move into RAM under the name of the space obj. Now these two methods are available for execution for the JVM, right? So now, how to execute these things in the sense, we need to create, we need to call the methods. We know the dot method notation. So these methods are located in OBJ and the name of the method is yum, right? So this is how we can call the method yum. If you observe the method yum, it does not have any parameters. So just a second. So if you observe the method yum, it does not have any parameters. So there is no need to send any parameters for this method yum. But in case, if you want to call the method yum1, right? If you want to call the method yum1, we need to pass an integer value in order to execute that particular method yum1, right? So here, just follow it is small letters, obj dot m1, and m1, if we want to execute the m1, we need to pass any integer value, right? So we have some range for the integer. We can store up to minus something to plus something value. So in between those values, we can pass any value. For example, I want to pass 15, and I want to call this method m1. So this is how we can make a call to the methods, right? So now my question is, there are two classes in this program, CO and CO1. So we have to save this program before executing this program. So the name which is used to save the program is CO1, because CO1 is the only class which contains the main method public static void main string args, right? So because of CO is containing the main method, we are going to save the program with the name of CO1.java, right? So let us save this code. Let us save this code as CO1.java, right? Now, let us compile the program first. Just a second, it is taking more time for compiling. One second, it is not responding. I will compile it again. The system is little bit slow. That's why I'm not getting this one. Just a second. Class name is CO1, right? So it is our class. Now just compile the class. It is taking a lot of time. Yeah. Now it is compiled successfully, right? We don't get any errors for this program. Now let us run the code. Just a second. Yeah. So if I run the code, it has printed good morning and good evening, right? So this is how we can write parameterized methods and non-parameterized methods, and we can run those methods by calling them by using an object. Okay. Now we have seen one point in the PowerPoint presentation. So the point is that, so these are executed. So which one? These constructors are executed during the time of object creation. So here, in case of methods, we've only created an object and then we made a call to the methods of that class. But in case of constructors, there is no need to call them separately. They will get executed while creating an object for that class. So let us change the entire program to constructors. So if we want a constructor, we need to have the method name should be same as class name, right? And here also I have changed it as a class name, right? And then inside CO1, right? Inside CO1, according to the given point, there is no need to create an object, right? There is no need to create an there is no need to call them separately. They will be executed during the time of object creation. So I have created an object here, right? I have created an object here. So let us see how this program will behave and how the constructor is going to be executed. So for constructors, we don't have return types. That's why I'm going to delete these return types, right? So this is the program now. CO is a constructor with no arguments, and whenever one CO is having one argument, there are two constructors, right? There are two constructors in the code. CO with 0 arguments and CO with one integer argument. So along with these two constructors, we have a class which is having public static void main string args, and inside the class we have just created an object, right? So let us see, let us save this one, let us compile this one. So it is compiled successfully, and let us run this one. So if I run this one, it has printed only good morning. So good morning in the sense, if you observe the code, so it has printed only good morning. Good morning in the sense, the constructor with 0 arguments or the constructor with no arguments is executed. So we don't call the constructor separately. If you observe the main method, inside the main method, we don't call the constructor directly. It is automatically executed in case we have created an object. So what is the thing we have to do in order to execute the constructor with single integer parameter? If I want to execute the constructor with single integer parameter, just by passing an integer value during the object creation, the integer parameter constructor will get executed. So I have added a 10 value. That means I have added an integer value during the object creation for the above class. Now save the code, compile the code, and run the code. So if you run the code, you can observe it has printed good evening. So why it has printed good evening in the sense, so good evening will be printed whenever this constructor is called. So whenever the CO of int a is called, it will print good evening. When the CO of int a will be called, so during the time of object creation, when we pass an integer value, it will call the CO of int a, right? What is the thing? If I want to print both good morning and good evening on the output screen, I don't want to print only good morning and only good evening. I want to print both the things. If I want to print both the things, I need to create two objects. One object will execute the constructor with 0 parameters. Another object will execute the constructor which is having an integer parameter. So I need to create one more object. So here my object name is obj1, which will execute the method, the constructor with 0 parameters. Now let us save the code, compile the code, and then run the code. If you run the code, it has printed good morning and good evening. This is how the constructors are going to be executed. So in case of methods, if you observe the thing which was happened 4 minutes before, in case of methods, if we want to execute the method, we have called the method separately. But in case of constructor, there is no need to call the constructor separately. constructors will be executed along with the object creation. That was the point which was maintained in the PowerPoint presentation in the slide, right? So this is how we can see the second point here, executed during the time of object creation, right? So we need to pass some parameters in case of executing the constructors with parameters, right? And then next one, we cannot execute explicitly. That's what we have seen. If I want to execute the constructor again, I cannot execute the constructor again. If I want to execute the constructor again, I need to create one more object, right? So in case of the methods M1 or M, we can execute the methods any number of times by calling object.m, object.m, object.m. If I call the methods for 3 times, those 3 times that methods will get executed. But in case of constructors, we cannot execute them, we cannot call them explicitly. We cannot call them explicitly. We can only call them during the time of object creation. If I want to execute the constructor again, if I want to print the good morning again, I need to create one more object. It will execute the constructor. So I cannot call the constructor any number of times. I can only call the constructor during the time of object creation. If I want to execute the constructor for 100 times, I need to create 100 objects for that particular class, right? So the case is different, right? The case is different. Let us see, right? The case is different in case of, one second. We have created 2 objects here. Let us consider this one is not a constructor and it is a method which is having the name M, right? So let us start executing the code, right? Let us start executing the code. I have compiled and I have the executed. So it has printed good morning for 2 times because we have 2 objects here. Because we have 2 objects here, it has printed good morning for a couple of times. During the 2 times, we don't pass any parameters, so the constructor with 0 parameters will get executed. But it is not a constructor, it is a M. If I want to call M, obj1.m, it will take one integer value, so I am passing 10. So if I write the same code again and again and again and again, so I have written the same code for 5 times, right? I have written the same code for 5 times, where you can observe the object name is same. So we can create one object. After creating that object, we can call the method any number of times we want. So let us compile this one, first one, and then execute so that it is compiled successfully. Now let us execute the code and see the output. Just a second. Right. If you see the output, right? If you see the output, it has printed good morning, and 5 times it has printed good evening. So by creating one object, we are able to call the method any number of times. But by creating one object, we are able to execute the constructor only once, right? So that is the meaning of the third point. We cannot call the constructor explicitly. Here in this program, CO is a constructor, M is a method. CO is executed only during the time of object creation, but M can be executed any number of times, irrespective of the object creation. We have to create object once, and by using that object, we can execute the method M any number of times. But in case of CO, it will be executed only during the time of object creation, and we cannot call it explicitly. If I want to execute the method CO, I cannot execute, right? Next one. If we want to execute, we need to create another object, right? In case of constructors, it will be executed. It will be executed during the time of object creation, and we cannot call them explicitly. And in case if I want to execute the constructor again, I need to create one more object. So that is the meaning of this 4th point. right? That is the meaning of this fourth point. If I want to execute, we need to execute by creating another object for that class, right? And the next one, we can have parameters for the constructors, right? We can have parameters for the constructors. That's what we have seen in the code, right? That's what we have seen in the code. Just a second, I will show you in the program. So if the method name is not m and if it is co, and if you observe, we have passed some parameters to the co method, right? Parameters for the co method. If I want to execute this co method, I can just simply pass an integer value here, right? So this is how we can have parameters for a constructors. Here the rule is the class name and method name is same, and we have some parameters inside. So it is called as parameterized constructor, right? Next one, Java do not have destructors. So you don't know the meaning of destructors because you have seen the C programming language, but you don't learn C++ programming language because it is not in your syllabus, right? So if the people who learn C++, they know what is a constructor and what is a destructor also. And regularly in C++, just keep the points in your mind that will be very useful during the attending an interview on Java, right? So regularly in C++, constructors and destructors both are used. Constructors are used to create some space, or constructors are used to allocate some values to the variables, whereas destructors are used to delete, right? Simply to keep the two points in your mind. Constructors are used to create, destructors are used to delete. But what happens in case of Java? In case of Java, constructors are used to create, but there is no need of destructors because Java follows garbage collection. The things will be automatically deleted after their use in the program. But in case of C++, they don't support the concept of destructors. That is why we need to have destructors, right? So C++ have constructors and destructors, but in Java we only have constructors. There is no need of destructors here. That is why Java does not support destructors, or Java does not have destructors, right? That is the meaning of last point. Next one, no argument constructors. What we have seen in the program also, as the name specifies, the no argument constructors of Java do not accept any parameters. Instead, using these constructors, the instance variables of the methods will be initialized with fixed values for all the objects, right? And the next one, parameterized constructors. We have seen an example also, m1 of int a. It is a parameterized constructor which is having a one integer parameter, right? And then next one, they have given some example. Let us see the example here. There is one class, right? There is one class where the name of the class is my class, right? Which is having an integer variable x. And inside my class, if you observe, there is a constructor, right? There is a constructor, my class of int a, which is having some body, my class of int a. If you observe, the class name is my class where m and c are capitals, and the method name is my class where m and c are capitals, and this method do not have any return type. If you observe here, there is no void, there is no int, there is no float. So there is no return type for this method. So simply we can call this type of methods as a constructor, right? Class name is same as method name and there is no return type. It is called as constructor. So in case of constructor, we have studied that there are two types of constructors. Constructors with zero parameters, constructors with parameters. So if you observe, there is one parameter for this constructor. So it comes under the type of constructor with parameters, right? So next one. Right. Access modifiers in Java, right? So there are three things. Mainly there are three things: public, private, protected. And the thing, another thing is, if we don't specify anything, what will be done for the things, right? So I will explain this access modifiers in the next class. And with this, with the completion of the topic of constructors, I'm going to close today's session. And before going to close today's session, I want to ask if anybody is having the doubts regarding today's session or regarding the previous sessions. You can just unmute yourself, right? You can just unmute yourself and you can raise your doubts, and I will answer now. So I request, if there are anyone who is having the doubts regarding the previous sessions or regarding today's session, please unmute yourself. ఇంకా ఎవరికేం డౌట్స్ లేవా? Right, okay. So with this, I am going to close today's session, right? Hope you all enjoy today's session, the constructors in Java, right? And in case if you have any doubts regarding today's session, you can just ask now, or you can make a comment in the YouTube. This video will be uploaded in the YouTube by evening or tomorrow. So you can make a comment in the comment box of this YouTube video, right? So I really thank each and everyone for being here for the session. And in the next session, we start with the access modifiers in Java programming language, right? And thank you. You can leave now.